think there's been a real change in understanding that we don't need to try and do everything in-house anymore. In fact, we can't, because we can't keep up with the change and also keep up with that expertise. The first thing that we actually did was really meet with our team and say, okay, what do we need in order to help us move forward? And it was then that we realised actually what we do need is for an outside eye to come in and have some kind of scrutiny on what we're doing, both in terms of what's happening in the classroom and what could happen. What I found with working with MSP is that there's a structure to what you're doing, and you know that you're moving towards amazing end goal that you know you want to get to. And it takes away some of that pressure, some of that sense of, are we actually meeting any of those government directives as well as what we know we want to do. So that's that huge checklist done. The minute MSP come in, you suddenly realise they're not just a group. They're people, they're very personable. They made everybody who doesn't know how to talk about IT feel that they could talk about IT. So that initial meeting was really important because it became very open conversation straight away from day one, and a real sense of, we've got something that we need to sort out here and want to sort out, but actually we might have here a partner who want to get alongside and help us do that.
Like many independent schools, we experience attacks on our IT system every day, several times a day. So a big part of the process that we went through with MSP Labs was testing our security and resilience, and then putting in things that would enhance that. Everything that I've experienced with MSP Labs so far has been positive, and I hope that we're building a long-term partnership with MSP Labs. We're developing our strategy, we're looking at the structure of the team. Any change, any review creates an environment where people feel on edge, and MSP Labs are great at coming in and smoothing that and building up good rapport with teams and demonstrating their expertise in different areas. They're good at listening, and they've been really dynamic in supporting us through that transition, and I hope that will continue.
I've been at St Albans School for about 16 years, and the use of IT has changed massively these days. Everything relies on it. So there's been a lot of investment both in the infrastructure and the end user experience. The process started really just with a few conversations and just talking through what our infrastructure looked like at the moment. When the things progressed, that then moved on to Adam and his colleagues coming on site and having a look at things. So there was a very involved fact-finding exercise. They knew the right questions to ask to find out the information that they needed to come up with a good solution. It's been a really good experience for us, so it helps an awful lot with budgeting for a start. So rather than spending out on big cost of hardware up front, it spreads that cost out over time. From the end user point of view, no one's noticed a difference. So in terms of speed and connectivity, it's been just as if the servers were on site. For me, it's just nice not having to worry about the physical infrastructure and knowing that everything is well looked after and properly backed up.
When we visited St Albans School, we quickly identified that their infrastructure was ageing and required significant amount of investment to bring it up to modern standards. We agreed that an infrastructure as a service model would be the best way forward for the school. The migration process is very seamless. IONOS are a world leader at providing infrastructure service. We use them, and schools find them really, really good because they're very easy to use and very cost effective, and they solve problems and pain points of not having to buy big expensive hardware.
MSP Lab were involved from the absolute inception of our cyber project. And they went through various options and we discussed what we wanted, and they got some industry experts themselves to look at things that we could then do. We don't have the resources of Microsoft, but we want the security of Microsoft. So it's finding that right balance and going back and forth. And again, it's that open conversation and being able to just have a good chat and talk everything through. And then you come to a good conclusion about what products are right and will work for the school. And that's where we can use the expertise of MSP Lab to meld with our expertise. So MSP Lab, they help us as our IT partner. They are involved in our big infrastructure and technology projects. MSP Lab are big in the education sector. They've talked at conferences like the ISBA and ISC, and they've been able to use that knowledge and influence to bring back to us so that we can make sure our projects are the best ever. Having MSP Lab as a sounding board is an absolute fantastic resource for me. Having someone who's not necessarily part of the school, who can take a look at a project or an idea and see it with a different set of eyes, who sees it with something very clear of everything that goes on in the school, even though they understand the school, is a massive help to me. And it's like having a very close friend, but in IT.
We're an international school with boarding and day students, and the IT need for the international side of things is quite vast. We need to make sure there's always connection, communication with various countries all over the world, while maintaining safety primarily, I suppose, for the school. MSP Lab helps us with pretty much everything we need, really, from supply of laptops, which is incredibly important for us. Anything we really need hardware-wise, they can support, they can accommodate, support, security, communications. They offer everything we kind of need from A to Z. It's always good to know MSP Labs on the other end of the phone, and you know when you pick up the phone and you speak to them that you are going to go get honest feedback. You're going to get, they're not going to sell you something that doesn't exist. They're not going to sell you an idea which is unattainable. They're going to tell you things the way they are, and you can trust that what you're told is the truth and you can work using that information.
When I started at rugby school, I was very lucky to have Adam work alongside me to help induct me, to help do an evaluation of the team, its strengths, its weaknesses, to understand where we could then go to build a roadmap. They have an excellent understanding of rugby school and schools in general, definitely. They have a good understanding of the needs of the bursars, a good understanding of the needs of the IT directors, and they have direct experience of working with schools in supporting students, so they understand the core aim of a school. They helped us to deploy a new firewall and safeguarding system across the two schools, and that was really important because safeguarding our students' use of the internet and other things is a big requirement. They helped us not just implement the solution, but work out the best way of doing our thing, making sure that we're able to get the data to the safeguarding team in a way that's understandable as well. So their school knowledge helped us to support that rather than just the industrial knowledge of security. MSP Labs helped us not just with the equipment or the software or those things, they helped an awful lot with strategy. It's very important for me that I have a number of partners that I can trust, that are flexible and able to meet the various quite stringent demands that the school has. So it's very important that, that a partner had those qualities, and I'm excited to see MSP Lab come along and provide that.